This playthrough is rated T for teen.
Time to gather the clues to our mystery. Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. In the last episode, we gathered some clues to try and figure out this murder, but unfortunately another murder occurred while we were gathering clues. There's not much we could do about it. Hopefully we'll get a little bit faster and prevent anyone else from dying, but we'll have to wait and see. And we're playing as Sherlock now, or Sherlock Watson right now, so now we need to gather some clues from Mr. Sherlock.
Holmes, are you there? Are you sleeping?
I'm thinking, Watson.
Are you ever going to quit these four walls? If you continue to shut yourself away like this, I will have to abandon the story of your adventures and write an essay on the fascinating colour of this closed door.
Very good, Watson.
Stop ignoring me! Didn't you say that we need to assess the case of this madman? I, too, can be driven mad, Holmes. I'll order Mrs. Hudson to stop bringing you food. I'll get some straw and a can of lamp oil and smoke you out like a common fox. And if you still don't come out, I'll...
As you wish, Watson.
Oh, Holmes, I despair of you.
Now, it's like Holmes is being a bit of a negative Nancy right now. Or he's got his own plan, it's hard to say. But, yeah, not quite come together yet, but anyway, put this bottle.
Holmes examined the broken jar that belonged to Finley's tenant. I wonder what this substance is. I don't recognize the odor.
Formalin, Watson. This jar contained formalin. Interesting, don't you think? I've been waiting for something for days. Just the tiniest bit of news that would make sense of this whole matter. But there's nothing, neither from the press nor the police. Unless Inspector Aberline is holding on to some information without realizing its importance, which is quite possible. It is time for you to return to the police station in Whitechapel, Watson. And didn't you tell me that you had a matter to take care of it? Take advantage of it to learn more about this pill and its contents.
Ah, but Holmes, it's late, and spending another night in this district is hardly my idea of entertainment.
I know, Doctor, but we don't have any choice. Time is against us. Take your pistol in case you run into any troublesome characters.
Fine, as you wish, Holmes.
In terms of his pistol, I think he's only... I think Watson has only technically used it like once or twice in the whole series. Like every time he pulls it out, he never actually has to use it. But I think he shot someone like twice, I think, if I remember, out of all the short stories. Anyway, we need to go to the cobbler's place, I believe, first. Where are you? Yep, just gonna have a good night. We gotta... I mean, if we take too long, you never know, so anyway. Now about those harnesses.
Good evening, Mr. Solomonovich.
Good evening, Doctor. What a pleasure to see you again.
Tell me, did John Pizer turn himself in to the police?
Things unfolded as they should. Look in the newspaper, the Daily News from today.
He must be an Orthodox Jew because of he does the beard and the hair and the hat and everything like that, so just to let you know.
Have you finished converting the harnesses?
Yes, just now. I got a little behind because of all the commotion.
What commotion was that?
Commotion?
Don't you start. 3 days ago, the very afternoon that you passed by, there was a chase throughout the neighborhood. Hundreds of people were chasing one man, claiming he was responsible for the murders these last few days. Schmonz! It was awful. I hope those maniacs didn't catch him. Better the police should.
Yeah, otherwise it'd be chaotic, so, might have to check into that.
Farewell, Isaac.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Alright, now that we got the harnesses, we have to go back to the clinic now, but first, some reading. September 11th, 1888, Daily News, United Kingdom, the Whitechapel murders. There is good reason why, without prejudice to the case of the man who is now in custody, the public acceptance of maniacal theory should be endorsed and encouraged. There is a positive danger in the growth of any other opinions at present at Whitechapel. As we have said, the mutilation of bodies, excepting in rare cases to further the murderer's chance of safety, is foreign to the English style of crime. There is a disposition at once, therefore, to set down such atrocities to the credit of some ill-bred and ill-nourished foreigner from the lowest dens of vice in Europe. So in Whitechapel, there was a rising and murmur of ugly forebodings for some of the foreign element there. sheer rumor of the silliest kind was beginning to take an odious precision, and there was arising in the East End a Judeniles more abhorrent than which is broad to do to religious fanaticism, to hate the Jew for his religion, to call him misbeliever, cutthroat dog, and spite upon his Jewish gabardine, even metaphorically is bad enough, but to call him leather apron, and to apply thereby his readiness to murder women and practice anatomy with his knife upon them, is a refinement of cruelty. There was reason to fear till yesterday that the tendency towards thus insulting the Jews of Whitechapel was growing amid the embarrassing perplexity as to the origins of the murder. The police have discouraged this line of suspicion by acting momentarily upon it, and the proving by their release of the Jew, whom they arrest, that therefore was not a doubt of his innocence. For the happy result, we may look lightly upon the apparently ludicrous error of this arrest. Pizer, I thought it was supposed to be with a Z. Anyway, the man arrested was found sitting quietly at home, totally undisturbed by any panic or bloodthirsty demand for the mythical personage, Leather Apron. He is said to be a poor sickly man, whom it was not possible to associate with the assassin now so eagerly wanted, and the reporters seemed to have found what the police might easily also have learned, that he had not left his house since Thursday night last. Pizer, however, will probably not regret his short detention of it, has finally put a stop to those anti-Jewish suspicions. The inquest on the body of Annie Chapman was opened yesterday, but without throwing any new light on the murder. As a result of the investigations of the police into the circumstances attending the murder of Annie Chapman at Whitechapel, several men were arrested yesterday on suspicion. The arrests were considered to be of the most importance were those of a Polish Jew named Pizer, near the scene of the crime, and of a man named Piggott at Gravesend. Pizer was released last evening, but Piggott, being considered to be insane, is to be detained and under observation. Alright, let's head to the clinic. There it is. We got the, let's see, show the notes. Yeah, we got the pill and the harnesses, so. Alright, see if anyone we can, probably not. Okay, I didn't think so. Alright, let's talk to the doctor.
Good evening, Dr. Gibbons.
Dr. Watson.
Did you keep the cane we spoke of last time?
I was going to sell it tomorrow, would you believe, having not heard word.
Well, I've got it now, dude. Don't sell it.
Here are your harnesses, Doctor.
They are top quality, I'd say. Definitely worth the price of this walking stick. Here, it's yours.
Well, since you're a doctor, could you tell me about this, since apparently I don't know what it is?
Do you have any formalin here?
No, definitely not. They have it in university hospitals to conserve anatomical specimens in jars. But in a little clinic like mine, we don't keep anything but bad memories.
Well, let me show him the...
Well, farewell, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Watson.
Let me show him the pills.
I must go to Miss Bella's.
Yes, Doctor?
Could you tell me what type of pill this is?
Yes, we have those here. It's not really a medication. We give them to patients with chronic respiratory conditions like tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis, huh? Ugh.
Did you have a patient by the name of Annie Chapman, the woman killed 3 days ago?
Indeed. She came in the morning of her death. Poor woman.
Did you give her these pills?
Yes, now that I think of it. She actually came in twice. The first time I gave her an almost empty container without making her pay. She came back during the day and said she dropped the container and stepped on the pills. She wanted to know if I could give her more again without paying. I refused. After she left, a patient who was there told me that he lives at the same place and confided that she had been lying. He saw the pills fall in the tenement's communal kitchen, but the woman immediately wrapped them up in a piece of paper.
Where did this paper come from?
According to this man, she'd found it near the chimney in the kitchen.
Anyone could have thrown that paper there. That envelope can't have anything to do with the murder.
Pardon, Doctor?
Nothing. I was just talking to myself.
Alright, so...
Well, farewell, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Watson.
Interesting
I
situation.
must go to Miss Bella's.
Yeah, those pills don't... Since it's tuberculosis doesn't have initial things to do with the murder, but maybe there's some ties there. But anyway, let's head back to the madam and give her the cane back. Or we'll give it to the rich dude, anyway.
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
Yes, yes. You don't like to look at me with your nasally voice. I can do that too. And I'm not a voice actor.
Can I get a refill, please?
Or she has anything.
Good evening, ma'am. Your door was open. Isn't that a little dangerous?
Hello, Doctor. Don't worry if the looks of anyone who enters doesn't please me. Me and my pistol know how to convince them to leave.
My name is Mr. Gunn. If you squeeze me, bad people go away.
Do you happen to know Annie Chapman, the poor woman who was killed 3 days ago?
Dark Annie? Like all the drifters in the area, I've seen her once or twice. With respect to the dead, Annie really was the bottom of the barrel.
What do you mean?
Well, in our profession, the pretty young ones go out when night has barely fallen and don't have a problem finding takers. But poor girls like Annie or Polly Nichols, who aren't as tender and are often sick, sometimes trudge around for a whole night in the cold and the rain before landing a client. And that doesn't help their appearances either. They don't have much choice about paying for a bed for a few hours, a glass of gin or a hot meal.
How terribly sad.
That's the price of survival in Whitechapel, my angel. One of my girls knew Annie for some time. They bought some jewellery on the black market, I think.
Jewellery? How could Annie Chapman have possibly afforded jewellery?
Luxuries for a woman are always relative to her condition, Doctor. As a matter of fact, it was real cheap junk. Annie got 3 assorted brass rings, I think. It's been said I have a memory for jewellery.
Funny, the dialogue says something she got from a black fella, but she doesn't actually say it. Huh, that was weird. I don't know. Why have it as a subtitle if you're not going to say it?
How is Lucy keeping?
She's doing well, Doctor. But believe me, it won't last. Rare are the girls who can build a future in our profession.
Very, very few famous prostitutes. Only a handful.
Very well, I shall let you get back to work, Ma.
See you soon, my love.
At least back in the day. Nowadays they call it something else. But anyway, let's highlight the staff and give it to her, because I think the dude's not even here. Yeah, see?
You're still there, Doctor?
In some capacity, yes.
I found the cane that was stolen from your client. Here it is.
Doctor, you are a real saint, I can see that. I'll finally be able to present my bill to this damned painter. If by chance you see him, tell him that a little surprise awaits him here.
Why do I feel like he doesn't actually have the money? He'd have to sell his cane or something.
You told me you would give me some information on this Dr. Tumblety.
Agreed. He's a Canadian or an American. He parades from time to time through the neighbourhood in a 50-guinea suit and acts like a doctor. But for business, he isn't worth it. This damn Yankee hates women. The few times that he was approached by the girls, he spit on them, all the while hurling insults. It would seem that he was hunting for the bad boys. He's looking for trouble, that animal.
Does he frequent any pub in particular?
Aye, the Wasp's Nest on Burner Street, I think. A seedy spot even by our standards.
Mr. Tumblety might be an eternal bachelor, if you know what I mean.
Very well, I shall let you get back to work, Ma.
See you soon, my love.
Either that or he had a bad instance with women that caused him to hate them so much. I don't know, man. But anyway, we get a new location, the Wasp Nest Pub, so... Creepy.
The Wasp's Nest. This pub looks even more disreputable than the Golden Lion in Baker Street.
See, Golden Lion, I'm trying to think. I think we went that during the Arsène Lupin. Yeah, that was in the last game. I had to remember for a second on that one. It's been a year since I played that last one, so you'll have to forgive me.
Good evening, sir.
It'll be the coup of my career, Governor said. Ha! You'll make loads of doss of the paper, he said.
Okay. A journalist. Great.
You're a journalist?
That's so. Tom Bulling at your service. The Whitechapel ferret, the wizard with the scoop.
You don't appear to be in a state to write anything, my friend.
You're mistaken. Whiskey passes through the blood and turns into ink. Simple. You see, mugs and inkwells are all the same.
Don't you think you should settle your tab and go home?
My red ink? Where's my red ink? I won't even pay half a halfpenny if they don't return my red ink. It's my blood you hear.
Okay, I don't know why you want red ink that badly.
Very well, I'll be on my way.
That was a weird sound effect.
Good evening. Would you happen to have seen a Dr. Tumblety? A man of a certain age dressed in a flamboyant manner.
If you're looking for some company, Gov, you've come to the wrong place. Me? I'm just here to pour. I don't care who you is, I knows nothing, and I don't care neither.
I did say one company. I was looking for Mr. Tumblety.
Greetings, my good man. Could I have a pint?
Here, Gov.
I've been told that Dr. Tumblety might be found around here. Is that so?
I don't do a roll call of all the drunkards here. I've got my hands full just making sure I get their money.
Well, that is hard to do, especially when they're drunk.
Don't people pay when they order?
Nah, look at that little scribbler there. Completely dead drunk. Tonight's tally is about as long as his arm. If he skips out, I'll be in for a guinea almost.
Ooh.
Goodbye, my friend.
Oi, that's it.
Okay, that was weird. Oh, rich dude.
Good evening, sir.
Well, I know you. Why? We met at Miss Poolman's the other day. So you've come to slum it in Whitechapel, eh?
Well, not really.
Do you know Dr. Tumblety? A Canadian or American chap. Quite an extravagant dresser. Frequents this pub now and then.
Are you intimate?
No. What do you mean by that?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. I just wanted to prove my discretion concerning this man, in so much and so far as I know him. You wouldn't like it if one day the tables were turned and everyone was talking about why you were in the borough. Isn't that so?
Is he trying to, like, not threaten us, but like, you know, I don't know.
As it happens, I saw Miss Poolman recently. She told me that she couldn't wait to see you again. She said something about a surprise that is waiting for you at her establishment.
Why, that is some of the best news I've heard, my friend. As thanks, I would like to let you in on a secret. The man that you were talking about, and whom I happen to know by sight, passed by and went through that little door that you see over there. Another man let him in. They weren't together for more than a few minutes, to be sure, eh?
Yeah, it seems like everyone knows.
Well, I will continue my search.
Ah, love.
I'm not...
But what is this person trying to imply? This matter is beyond me.
No, like I said, he thinks we're also eternal bachelors. So...
Hey, you can't go in there. It's private. Got it?
Oh, okay. So we had to find her... How about back here? Nope, okay. Well, anyway, the red ink. Yeah, there's some red ink right there.
This is the sink where the barmaid puts the glasses to soak. Look, red ink. What's that doing here? The bottle is closed. There must still be some ink inside, and it looks like a glass. The barmaid must have put ink into the sink by mistake.
Right. Do I get in your way? Me?
If you'll excuse me, sir.
I mean, you are technically getting in my way from preventing me from going to that door, but okay.
You're the best. The boss told me. My red ink. Where's she be?
Somewhere.
Very well, I'll be on my way.
About to quote it, so. Just highlight it or whatever, so.
You're the best.
Okay.
I found your red ink, my friend. You should settle up and head home.
Thank you, my friend, thank you. The spring-heeled phantom will be revived.
Alright, now that I got paid, so maybe a little bit more hospitable.
Gov?
What's behind that locked door over there? Can I go in?
Not likely. And let me be unless you're wanting a drink. Got it?
But I ordered a drink earlier.
Here you go. It's on the journalist, my friend.
I owe you one. The next one is on me. What'll it be?
Nothing, thanks. But I may need your help.
Yeah, the door.
Listen, my friend. I would like you to let me in the door over there.
You're a bobby? A peeler?
Absolutely not, my friend. I am a doctor.
Fine. I owe you this at least. There's a bloke behind that door there. No pity Bluto. Let's just say he wants to lay low for a moment. So I don't think he'll be opening the door just now. Unless... Tell him you have word from Squibby. That'll open the door. But who can say what'll happen when the door closes?
Squibby, huh? Not Squibby toilet, hopefully.
Goodbye, my friend.
Oi! That's it!
Why does he get so mad? Calm down, dude.
Let me in. I have news from Squibby. But stay calm.
And who are you? Where's Squibby? He's out.
To be honest, I don't actually know this Squibby chap. I was actually wondering if you knew Dr. Tumblety, a Canadian or American fellow. He came in...
Sure we know him.
Excellent. Can you...
You know about gas?
I'm afraid not. I am a doctor.
Then I ain't interested. You can be leaving now. But if I find out who snitched to the peelers, I'll find you. Got it?
But I can pay you for...
Keep your coins for the paupers, or one of the gas boys who ain't afraid of nothing and knows how to hold his tongue. You bring him to me. I'll meet with you.
Okay, so now we need to find someone to help with the situation. Yeah,
Gav?
to you. Nah, I didn't think
Goodbye,
so.
my friend.
Oi!
That's it.
Oi, what'll it be to drink, Gav?
Nothing, apparently. So, alright. Well, we need some help, so we need to go talk to Finley.
There is a strong smell of gas. It seems to be coming from the abandoned building.
Uh-oh. Let's see what Finley has to say.
Good evening, Finley. How are you?
Oh, good evening, Doctor. So. And you?
I've got some questions.
It smells of gas here.
You might say, Doctor, without wanting to speak ill of the force, I have to wonder if the police are up to something.
What do you mean?
Well, I was outside yesterday evening when the light went out at my place, and a gas smell came from the abandoned building across from my place. And a minute later, the police arrived and was snooping all around like it was them who hit the gas before arriving.
Okay.
Have things sorted themselves out with your strange tenant?
Don't talk about it, Doctor. That man is truly bizarre. He goes to the most sordid locations once night falls. 3 days ago, my wife told me she saw him come in with blood-stained clothes and a fearsome look.
Uh-oh. Well, that's not good.
Interesting. What does he look like, and how old is he?
Oh, he's my age, give or take, so the other side of 50. He's always dressed in a striking manner with an American hat. He's big, close to 5'11", I'd say. He has a strange voice, not just his accent, see, his voice.
Funny how 5'11" was big in this day, and I'm actually 5'11", so...
Very well. Goodbye for now, Finley.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Now then, let's go to the police station.
Alright.
Good evening. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Not at all, Doctor. This man, Mr. Richardson, is a witness to the horrid affair at 29 Hanbury Street, the murder of Annie Chapman. We are discussing the relevance of his testimony.
Okay. What is he saying?
You're probably not in a position to discuss it with me, but I would like to know more about what you call the relevance of this young man's testimony.
Oh, there's no secrecy. It's simply that the testimony given by Mr. Richardson doesn't match the time of death given by the coroner, Dr. Phillips.
What was the time of death, according to him?
Before 4:30 in the morning.
That's what we guessed from our assumptions.
My conclusions were the same. Were there any other conflicting testimonies?
Well, 2 other witnesses summoned at the preliminary inquest gave testimony, but in these cases too, the times don't match.
Do you remember what it was they said?
I didn't question them myself. A colleague of mine took down their statements on paper, but on deciding they were of little use, he tore them up and threw them in the bin. There's no point in being bogged down with useless paperwork.
Amen, brother.
My conclusions were the same.
Well,
Do you remember?
That was an accident.
I will take my leave, Humphreys.
goodbye, Doctor.
Weird how the dialogue kind of cuts out, so...
May I introduce myself? I'm Dr. Watson. I am...
You wouldn't be the chap what writes the detective stories in that there paper?
Well, yes, indeed, my stories have been published in the Strand.
Go blimey, wanna tell me old mum?
It would seem your testimony is the subject of some debate. Could you tell me what it was about?
They'll be telling I'm a bit befuddled about the times that I told them. But it can't be so. I knows what I sees and what I don't sees that morning.
What did you see, or what didn't you see? And at what time, would you say?
I'll tell you this for nothing. It's me old mum who lives at the house where the body was found out back in the garden. She has her shop at the bottom to the right of the stairs. Her door was broken down not too far back because it's a real zoo it is. Right, the morning it happened, I head that way to see if me old mum has finally had the place broken into. It was 4:45 when I got there. That I'll swear on me dear old mum's life. I had a look round to see if the cellar had been taken. No. I had a little sit down on the stairs by the courtyard because me shoes were causing me no end of pain and I had a cut and all. I didn't seize a single thing below the steps, Doctor, not one single thing. If there was some bird all covered in blood, tain't no how I could have missed that, even if it were night time. Right, 5 minutes after getting to number 29, I had to clip off. And now they tells me that either I can't tell time no more, or I was fixing me loafer next to a stiff that was still steaming. All right then, evening gents.
That was weird. All the models looked down for some weird reason. Probably because where his model, because it's supposed to be face tracking, I believe, and it it sent him into the floor or something like that, I think.
This police station is like a laundry. What a scandal.
Yeah, terrible. And that's what it was like back in the day. Just grab a Bobby helmet. I'm a Bobby, old boy.
Closed.
Yeah, what's this? April 1886. At gunpoint from the White Plume Mountains ends, also called the Kayak Affair, 5 years, Dartmoor. Benjamin Benny, the scholar faggot, 46, Houndsditch, falsifying bank records, using false bank records, misappropriation of funds to the detriment of the Royal Bank of London, 8 years, Dartmoor. Jacob Levy, 30, Aldgate, theft of a weight of meat from his employer. Hyman Sampson, butcher of 58 Goulston Street, Whitechapel, 20 months, Essex County Asylum. Ron Obvious, 26, address unknown, vagrancy, embezzlement, indecent assault, degradation of a religious building to the detriment of the authorities in charge of the Chichester Cathedral, City of London Lunatic Asylum, indeterminate duration, Chapel, Longfoot Jim, Noser, 20 Chapel. Okay.
An old report on arrests that took place a few years earlier. Here are the ripped statements. I can piece them together again.
Alright, so now we have to put this all together, so yay! So we use the left mouse click to click it and then right to swap it over. So it's easier just to do corners and stuff like that first. Okay, let's see, it must be... I think it's this way, I believe. So, okay. At least I've noticed usually corners are the easiest ones. Okay, so this one's over. Gotta be over here or something, so... Yeah, that can't be... Yeah, it's gotta be... Maybe it's this way. No, it can't be that because we already found them, so... I can't be that way just because... Yeah, that doesn't work. Alright. I've had this over here for now, so let's see. You can also use this too. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. That's right. I think there's 2 different reports in here if I remember correctly, so we'll have to do it. Separate the two informations here, so let's see. No. I don't know what of that. That's on the other side. I mean, that might go there. It's just let's try over here. Let's see if that works. Let's see. Not that one. Let's see. Okay, so well, it's clearly okay. So dump this because these go together here for sure. And then let's see, where's another? Okay, it's not that one. Huh. Well, it's got to go there just because, But that's the only one with a... Oh, there it is. As I was saying, my brain don't work so well. Let's see. Whoops. No, not that one. Okay, there's that. So, testimony. Oh, nope. How about this one? Yep. One at a time. That might be in the middle there, maybe, but nope. Trying to find all the ones with the top. Well, those go together for sure. Let's see, where's the other top piece though? Okay, that one goes there. That one there. Let's see. What's in there? Another corner piece though? Well, there's that one, so... Nope. Now, getting there, we're getting there. Try to see if I can get that one tied together. There we go, we got that one, so. Aha. The mystery is almost solved. Maybe it goes, yeah, there we go. Yeah, the problem is it's two separate pages, so you have to kind of figure those two out. So let's see. Nope. Haha. There we go. It took a hot minute, but we've got it now. So. Aha. Our skills are
there,
complete.
All done. Holmes couldn't have done better himself.
Yeah, putting together a puzzle like that, sure. All right. Testimony E. Long. On the morning of the murder, the witness left her domicile at 32 Church Street at approximately 5 a.m. to get to Spitalfields Market. She's passing down Houndbury Street at about 5:30 a.m. The witness was certain at the time, as she declares that she heard the clock at the Black Eagle Brewery on Brick Lane strike at half hour just before she entered the street. In front of 29 Hanbury Street, she saw a man and a woman talking. It should be noted that the witness identified the body of Annie Chapman at the morgue as being the aforementioned woman. This identification was solicited by her services. The man seen with the victim is described by the witness as follows: age, at least 40 years old. Height, a little taller than the woman with whom he is discussing, approximately 5 feet 3 inches. Clothing, brown deerstalker cap, dark coat, a doubt on his point. General appearance of the working class. Particular markings, dark hair and mustache, dark face, looks like a foreigner. The witnesses only saw the man from behind and wouldn't be able to recognize or identify him. The term of foreigner is often associated with a person of Jewish origin. Okay. And then okay. That's it for that, so. And then the other one. Testimony A. Kadash. The witness residing at 27 Hanbury Street, the building adjoining number 29 at the same street, and the two respective backyards are separated by a wooden fence, tall and thin. On the morning of the murder, the witness got up at 5:15 a.m. and went to the yard where the latrine was. It was then at 5:20 a.m. On going back into the house, the witness heard voices from behind, the fence coming from number 29. The only word that he understood was no. He went into the building again, but returned to the yard approximately 4 minutes later, whereupon he heard a noise. It was as if something fell against the fence. He then departed for work. When he passed in front of the Spitalfields Church, it was approximately 5:32 a.m. Okay, so now, I think let's see if he has anything else to say about that.
Yes, Doctor?
So, how far along are the investigations into these two recent murders?
Everyone around here believes both crimes were committed by the same man. But as for the Hanbury Street and Bucks Row crimes, nobody has heard or seen a thing.
Interesting.
By the way, have you heard of a Dr. Tumblety?
No. Is it important?
Yes. Well, no, maybe. Actually, I don't know. I have heard about this man, his frequent nocturnal outings and bizarre behaviour.
What does this chap look like, Doctor? And where can we find him?
Well, Finlay has him.
The last I heard was that he was staying at Finley's place, the man who was looking for me a few days ago.
It would greatly assist us if you could ask Finlay what your strange associate looks like. We could then see if the description matches any witness accounts.
Well, we already have it, so.
Tumblety is a man around 5'11", about 55 years old, extravagantly dressed and with a rather distinctive voice. He boards at Finley's. You should know where that is, as the police were there only yesterday. Their arrival coincided with a strange gas leak.
Ah, yes, I know where you mean. Indeed, there was an odd affair with the gas. It was rather unsettling. We were searching for a well-known scoundrel who was ratted out by Squibby, the chap we followed and saved from the pack a few days ago. This thug, No Pity Bluto, must have been in the abandoned building in question. But there was no sign of him when we arrived. Furthermore, an inspector said that, given the smell, the thingamabob that supplies gas to the building was probably damaged. So we took no risks and were called away somewhere else.
Okay. That pity guy we know about.
I will take my leave, Humphreys.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Well, it would seem that I have all the information I need for my investigation. Anyway, this fellow Bluto at the Wasp's Nest is rather shady and doesn't look like he'll want to cooperate. I'd be better off returning to Baker Street. Holmes will certainly know what to do. And besides, I am worn out.
Why don't we just go get Popeye to deal with Bluto then? That'd be easy. But I feel like it won't be that easy, so.
Let's go back to Baker Street. Home, sweet home. There we are, Holmes. I've told you in great detail everything that happened last night.
Excellent work, Watson. We shall now be prepared to answer a few questions about the horrible murder in Hanbury Street.
Do you think we are now in a position to find out the identity of the murderer of these two women?
No, I don't think so. It's outside of our scope and not our responsibility. As much as you've done for Leather Apron and the affair with the pills, our mission is to help the police by ensuring that they don't get caught up following false leads and to point them in the right direction. Let us start from what we know with some certitude. As you have just said, it is almost certain that the same person killed the Bucks Row and Hanbury Street victims. The reason to assume as much are numerous, and I shan't elaborate here. What do these two victims have in common?
Interesting. Now we could discuss it. So, yeah, they have the same profession.
It's true, these two women were in the same profession, but...
Indeed, Watson. These two women were both prostitutes. That is of vital importance, Watson.
My memory from your examination of the scene is rather hazy. Didn't you say something about the killer's frame of mind?
I was talking about the victim's possessions that were placed on the ground and the rings missing from Annie Chapman's fingers. This killer is a cunning predator, comes from a rather humble background, and shows steely self-control in carrying out the murders.
Something is puzzling me, Holmes. Richardson's testimony contradicts the time of death given by Dr. Phillips, which also matches my own, 4:30 a.m.
And yes, we shall confirm that, Watson, and attempt to determine the precise time of death. In order to do that, we will need to place everyone involved on a timeline. Only after that will we be able to place the knife symbolizing our killer. Let's look at our timeline, Watson.
Alright, so now we need to figure out, see if we can get some time to figure out the settings of everything.
What are we doing, Holmes?
Let's look at our timeline, Watson.
That was the one of the few times we actually say something outside of it, so alright, anyway, let's go. Alright, so we need to figure out the time of death, so which is the stethoscope here.
Let's put the time of death as assessed by Dr. Phillips on the timeline.
Alright, so 4:30.
The assessment of the time of the murder given by Dr. Phillips and yourself, Watson, 4:30 a.m.
Okay, so now we need to... Oops, didn't mean to go back there. So estimated the time of death according to Dr. Watson and Phillips is 4:30. So, alright, so now we need to, let's see. See, now we need to click on. Oops. Okay, so let's see. See, we got help, inventory, reset. So we can reset the whole thing if we need to. So, whoops. Okay, well, anyway, we got this notice here. So we need to put this on. Let's see. Okay, we committed it to memory. So now we need to figure out where to put it on the map. I'll go over here just to give you an idea. So we got select from the inventory, the dialogue, and the two documents which will permit you to determine the time and place of Annie's death in Hanbury Street. Then place the objects or the character representation of these testimonies on the timeline. Listen carefully to Sherlock Holmes' instructions, which might ask you to modify them. Once all the icons are properly placed, Sherlock Holmes will ask you to place Jack the Ripper's knife at the exact time of death. So, okay. And then we got, so we use the document as proof. Whoops. Okay, hold on. Let me, I just need to reset these, so. Okay. Let me go back. So we got this one. So, okay. Let's see, where are you? So we need the testimony here, so let's see. Finley. Okay, let's see. We need to... Okay, oops. There's one of the items here. So yeah, we got the, oops. This just takes us to the different documents that we've got here. Because basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to use different documents and conversations to figure it all out. So okay, so let's see. Yeah, I think I remember when I first played this, it gave me a bit of a... It was a kind of a weird setup that you're supposed to do on these, like figure out like what you're supposed to do for these, for example. So let's see. Oops. Okay, sorry. Just gotta figure all these out and everything like that, so. Let's see. Okay, so for this one, when you use the testimony, maybe along there. Okay, and then Miss Long sees a woman near, and then we've got this one, the dialogue. So let's see. Okay, so we got
now
her.
for the most important part, the testimony of Miss Long. She claims to have seen a woman speaking to a man near 29 Hanbury Street sometime around what time, Watson?
5:30.
Let us assume, therefore, that Miss Long's testimony is, as is most certainly the case, true. She places her meeting with the victim at around 5:30, claiming to have heard a clock chime on the half hour at the moment when she enters the street.
Okay, then this one. So we need to use, let's see. Okay, I think this one is the Richard conversation. So, on that one. Let's see, and then we put that, I think it's like 4:40 or something like that, I think.
Now, let's put the Richardsons' arrival and departure times on the timeline.
I think it's about like right here, something like that, I think. 45 or whatever. Yeah, if it's green, you've done it correctly in that case, so. Yeah. Well, it could be 4:45, 40:50-ish around that time, so. Okay. And then the other
now,
one.
let's put the Richardsons' arrival and departure times on the timeline.
And then this one's 50.
Despite the great respect I have for Dr. Phillips and the value I place on our friendship, my deepest conviction is that both of you are mistaken and that Richardson is in the right and that these two testimonies put down in writing have real worth.
But how? Explain yourself, Holmes.
Remember how you assessed the time of death? You touched the fingers and body of the victim, but it was remarkably cold for this time of year. In addition, the corpse had been drained of bodily fluids. Its heat retention was therefore no longer the same as that of an intact corpse.
Egad! You're right, Holmes.
Oh, I've had some time to research, Watson.
Given these facts, my first diagnosis may have been off by half an hour, perhaps even an hour.
Thus, we can confirm Richardson's statement and establish that the murder was committed after 4:50 a.m. and not before 4:30 a.m.
Okay, so now we need some more info, so let's click on this one. So, let's see. Need the testimony of Kadash for this one. Okay, so we just need to figure out where their comings and goings are, so.
Our next witness is Albert Kadosh.
See, it should be like right, it's like right 5:20-ish, I think it was.
Albert Kadosh goes down into his garden at approximately 5:20, and on re-entering his home, hears voices in number 29's garden.
Okay, and then we need Yeah, visits in his garden for a few minutes and goes back in. He hears voices. Then the second was Mr. Kadosh sees a fall against his garden, and hence a few minutes are going back up. So, whoops.
Let's place this symbol that represents Kadosh on the timeline. Kadosh goes back down into his garden approximately 4 minutes after having left it, and hears the sound of an impact against the wooden fence.
Yeah, it was like a few minutes difference, but okay. Now we need the Kadosh leaves the place.
Let's place this symbol that represents Kadosh on the timeline.
It's like right, just like right past or something like that.
Kadosh leaves the garden, enters his house, then leaves for work, seeing the clock on the Spitalfields church showing 5:32.
Okay, and then we got the final one, which is the arrival of us.
We left the station at 6 o'clock, and it took us 20 minutes to arrive at Hanbury Street.
It's like 6:20 or something.
Our arrival at the scene occurred at around 6:20. Given the distance separating the two locations, we can deduce that the corpse wasn't discovered after 6 o'clock, and therefore that the murder must have been committed before. Excellent, Watson. All our people are now in place.
Yes, but Holmes, Miss Long claims to have seen the victim at around 5:30. But according to Kadosh, someone, most certainly the victim and her murderer, was already in the garden at 5:30.
Excellent observation, Watson. It must be noted, however, that these two witnesses, Long and Kadosh, saw the time shown on the clocks in the area, which are often inaccurate and went by their empirical and, in this case, erroneous estimate of how much time had passed. Thus, neither of these two times can be considered reliable.
Do you mean to say that these two testimonies might match?
Indeed. Let's put Miss Long's meeting with the victim at 2 minutes before 5:30. Let's add Miss Long's meeting with the victim at 2 minutes before 5:30 a.m.
Alright, so 5:28 now.
Mr. Kadosh claims to have passed by the Spitalfields church at 5:32, which, given the distance from 27 Hanbury Street, would mean he was still at home at 5:31. Let's therefore put the end of his testimony at 5:31.
I don't know why you're having me do this. You could just auto do this, but alright.
Miss Long heard the man say to the victim, "Will you?" To which the victim responded, "Yes," which would suggest that an agreement was reached and that the transaction was imminent. They then proceeded to enter the garden, which puts the voices heard by Kadosh at 5:29. We had thought that Kadosh had left 27 Hanbury Street at 5:31 after having heard an impact against the fence. Thus, 2 minutes passed between the moment when Kadosh entered the house after having been in the garden the first time and the moment when he returns to go out again and leave for work. How long did he estimate this interval to be? 3 to 4 minutes. In light of all this, Watson, we can finally establish the time of Chapman's murder. Now, place the knife at the exact time.
So we want to taste it at 5:30.
Now then, taking into account that the local clock isn't exact and that a young man was off by a minute or two in his estimations of his comings and goings, we can confirm Miss Long's testimony and place the time of the crime at approximately 5:30.
But in that case, Holmes, the man that Miss Long saw is none other than...
That's right, Watson. It was the Whitechapel killer.
To think that Miss Long and Kadosh were only a few feet away from him.
Indeed, Watson. Had Miss Long passed just a little closer to the victim and her assassin, or had the young Kadosh popped his head over the fence out of curiosity, the killer would most certainly already be behind bars.
That's some stroke of luck he had there.
I couldn't agree more, Watson. But his luck didn't end there, given the mutilations inflicted upon this poor woman. What must be considered above all is the killer's obvious wish to remove one and only one specific organ. His surgery pinpointed the exact spot, avoiding superfluous incisions. This suggests the man possesses at least a minimal anatomical knowledge.
Are you suggesting a doctor or a butcher?
Perhaps, but the possibilities are still too broad to conclude with any certainty. Now for the motive. Despite my almost complete lack of practical experience on the subject, I have a rather precise idea of the usefulness of a uterus and a vagina. Nonetheless, once they are separated from their usual envelope, I am more circumspect as to the uses one can make of them. What do you think, Watson?
Alright, so now we
need
to
a
figure
board, Watson.
Oops, sorry. Now we need to figure out motivation again.
What do you think, Holmes?
We need a board, Watson.
Need a water. Never mind. Alright, back to the board. Oh, whoops. Not that board. The other board. Board, where's the board? Alright, so, what could be possible motive for the crime? No on specimen as sole study. Let's see, medical university environment. Students easily have access to a number of specimens, so that would be kind of weird.
Perhaps it was intended as a study specimen.
I have little faith in that theory. Hardly anything was taken from the Bucks Row victim.
Just the uterus and that hit, so might mean. Anyway, we got black magic here. Nah, nothing indicates ritual, especially if you played the weekend game.
Black magic?
Watson, this line of investigation is far too vague. We don't have a single clue in support of such a motive. We can eliminate this hypothesis.
Could be cannibalism, because dementia can make people do pretty messed up stuff. So
Holmes, what if it was cannibalism?
Even if the idea is unbearable, we can't ignore it as a possibility.
gotta put it at least in the maybe category. So as a trophy, maybe, but I don't know.
A desire for some sort of morbid trophy.
I'd be inclined to dismiss this motive. If this were the case, why would nothing have been removed from the Bucks Row victim?
Outside of the uterus, of course. Money? Possibly, but yeah, supply human trafficking or organ trafficking?
Money, quite simply.
Even if this motive seems incongruous, we're in no position to deny or affirm it until we know whether a market for human organs exists.
Okay, so, and yeah, that's a possibility.
Elementary. What emerges from these possible motives for having removed the uterus from the second victim is that they implied that the killer could have carried out the same thing on the Bucks Row victim, yet didn't. This brings us to a terrible conclusion. Our killer has evolved in the space of only a few days, and if that's the case, had he already struck before the first murder to which we attribute him? And if the killer strikes again, what atrocity awaits his next victim?
We have to stop him, Holmes.
We shall do our best. This recent business of jar filled with formalin and of the American doctor might be a lead. Watson, inquire among medical circles to ascertain if there is a black market for human organs. The chances are slim, but this must be pursued.
Very well. What about you, Holmes?
I will send word to Inspector Aberline regarding our recent conclusions. I should also like to become a gas man and pay a visit to Bluto at the Wasp's Nest.
Understood, Holmes. I think one of my old university colleagues who works at the London hospital will be able to help me. I shall write him a note at once. He should be able to see me during the day. Afterwards, shall we meet here?
Yes, Watson. See you later, and good luck.
I must get to the London hospital, where my old university colleague works.
Okay, so, well, we've gotten a little bit more idea of what's going on due to we gotten so close to the guy. He could have been caught if only someone had turned left or right at the right moment, but that's just reality for you. So if we want to figure this out, we're going to need to have Watson go back to medical school to see if he can figure out some stuff, and our good Dr. Sherlock Holmes is going to have to go undercover like he's famous for. Will this relieve any results? Will Sherlock Holmes get in trouble for his situation? Find out what happens next time in the next episode of Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.